Growing up, I have been fascinated and inspired by films depicting the main protagonists' characters as powerful people in their pursuit of their passions and dreams and ambitions, such as There Will Be Blood, showing Daniel Plainview, a ruthless oil prospector in his pursuit of becoming the most powerful oil tycoon, or The Founder, showing the development of the McDonald's empire, and even Saul Goodman, who is so good and so absorbed in his craft and passion. Now that's really defining him. And I always attributed this single focus, determination and willingness to persist on one thing: passion. Looking up to this kind of characters, I felt a sense of admiration and awe, but also kind of sadness, because I felt like I wasn't like them, that I didn't have that sort of passion and that sort of determination at anything that I was doing. As a culture, we are fascinated with peak performance, with top athletes at the top of their game, with creatives, with entrepreneurs, with people pushing the boundaries of their domain. But these people are so far and in between. And what about the rest of us? Obviously, not everyone will want to be at that level and objectively won't be able to. And many will be quite content to support and to admire those that do. Performance at that sort of level, it seems to me, emerges out of a crossroads between the right sort of genes with the right kind of upbringing and nurturing, in the right environment with the right opportunities to develop into fully fledged potential. Now, for the rest of us, if you're watching this now later on in life, thinking that perhaps you've missed the train at finding your own passion, let's address some of the three most common mindsets around it from my own experience and from conversations I've had with people around over the years. Number one, the perfectionist. The most critical among us tend to hold ourselves against these unrealistic standards of excellence and perfection that are just so hard to achieve. And me personally, I always felt that statistically it's going to be quite unlikely to become the best at any of the endeavors that I had going for me. So I kind of resolved it into an all or nothing scenario where I wouldn't even try things, where I would give up on some of the things that I was interested in before even giving them a proper chance. Obviously, over the years, I've had a benefit to review those mindsets and to realize that ultimately it's the journey to become that best person in something and to maintain that position is what really matters and what life is made of, the journey. And as cheesy as it sounds, falling in love with the journey and committing to it is what we have as the only thing we have really. The achieving of that moment of power, of this ideal place in the future, is nothing but a fleeting episode. And I'm sure that you've experienced setting goals for yourselves, working hard to achieve them, only to get there and to realize that it's actually a quite anticlimactic event, that it's quickly replaced by the next ambition, by the next carrot with the stick. So perfectionism, or how to perform against perfectionism, is obviously something that I'm really passionate about and the reason why this channel exists. And I'm not saying that there is no absolute standard of perfection in anything that you set out to accomplish, but that if you let that prevent yourself from even giving it a try, then obviously that's the end of the journey for you. Number two, the undecided. We all know those kids whom, when asked at a very early age what they want to become when they grow up, already have a perfectly crafted answer. I wasn't one of those kids, and I've come across a helpful article earlier on explaining this idea of differentiation and integration. I'll link it in the description below. But basically it breaks people into two camps. Those people who early in life adopt the values of their predecessors, of their families, of their parents, and for them it's by default to ignore all the noise of the world. And then the other camp is that of people who put themselves through these life experiences, who figure out values for themselves by going through the motions and by seeing how their bodies respond to these values and whether this holds real resonance for themselves. And this explains why some people have it figured out early in life and why others might need to go through these experiences before they get the chance to ultimately internalize and adopt these values as their own. As you go through life, you will be inspired by people and by certain things. Some things will speak to you more than others as well, and those are just as good as points of inquiry as any others. Sure, you can wait on the sideline and wait for the perfect opportunity to come to fall into your lap, but how will you objectively know when that happens? Engage in this iterative process of figuring it out on the go and give yourself your chance to try things, and know that it's not permanent. A passion doesn't have to be something that you find once and you stick with for a lifetime. In fact, we are such dynamic beings and the environment around us changes so frequently that it would be fallacious to expect such sort of certainty and commitment from oneself. And third point, the resigned. I've come across this in many others, in myself as well, and there's that point of self-doubt where you just conclude and resolve that maybe you're just not a passionate person. Maybe passion is something reserved for other people. But realistically, even if that was the case, how would that be helpful for anyone? In fact, this point will help you review and reframe your whole paradigm around what passion really is. And that brings us to the last point of this video. Passion is not what you think it is. It's not the reason why you start something, why you carry on doing it, and why you won't give up no matter what. But rather, it's the exact opposite. It's the byproduct of having done those things to begin with. It's who you are and it's who you're becoming as you do these things. When you persist no matter what, when you're committed to the outcome, when you've got stuff to prove to yourself and to those around you, or when you're just too far in to give up now. It's when people depend on you, when they rely on you, when they look up to you and you just can't let anyone down. That's real passion, and it's not comfortable, it's not fun, it's a sacrifice, and we admire, love, respect and hold in high regards those who do that. And you've already got it, it's in you, you've just got to get present to it all over again. It's the reason why you're still not giving up, it's the reason why you're looking these things up, why you're here watching this now. You're seeking the answer, you're seeking the solution, you're seeking to get unstuck so you can get back on the horse, on the saddle and carry on with the journey. And that's what you've been doing and that's what you are doing. So give yourself a pat on the back, and I hope this has been helpful and engaging, and please share with someone who needs a bit of a pep talk, a bit of motivation, and as always, stay safe, look after yourselves, and I will see you in the next one.